Nana Hariom, you can start.
Okay. Thank you. Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadrusham Tattvamasyaadilakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudirayet. Adha Srimad Bhagavad Gita Adha Dashamodhyayah Vibhuti Yogaha Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Ahamatma Gudakesha Sarvabhutashayasthitaha Ahamadischa Madhyamcha Bhutanamanta Yevacha Adityanamaham Vishnuhu Jyotisham Raviram Shuman Marichir Marutamasmi Nakshatranamaham Shishi Vedanam Samavedosmi Devanamasmi Vasavaha Indriyanam Manaschasmi Bhutanamasmi Chetana Rudranam Shankaraschasmi Vittesho Yaksharakshasam Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Meru Shikharinamaham Purodasam cha mukhyam mam Vidhi Partha Bruhaspatim Senani namaham Skandaha Sarasamasmi Sagaraha Maharshinam Bhruguraham Giramasmekamaksharam Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi Stavaranam Himalayaha Ashwatha Sarva Vrukshanam Devarshīnam cha Naradaha Gandharvanam Chitrarataha Siddhanam Kapilo Munihi Uche Shravasamaswanam Vidhi mamamrutodbhavam Airavatam gajendranam Naranam cha naradhipam Ayudhanamaham vajram Dhenu namasmi kamadhuk Prajanaschasmi kandarpaha Sarpanamasmi vasukihi Anantaschasmi naganam Varuno yadasamaham Pitronam aryama chasmi Yamasamyamatamaham Prahladaschasmi daichanam Kala kalayatamaham Mruganam cha mrugendroham Vainateyascha pakshinam Pavana pavatamasmi Ramashastra-bhrutamaham Jhashanam makaraschasmi Shrotasamasmi Janhavi Sarganam adirantascha Madhyam chaivaham Arjuna Adhyatma vidya vidyanam Vada pravadatamaham Aksharanam akarosmi Dvandva samasikasya cha Ahameva kalo Dhataham vishvato mukaha Mruchu sarvaharaschaham Udbhavascha bhavishyatam Kirti shrirvakchanarinam Smrutir medha dhruti kshama Bruhasama tadha samnam Gayatri chandasamaham Masanam margasirshoham Rutunam kusumakaraha Jyotam chalayatamasmi Nitirasmi jigishatam Maunam chaivasmi guhyanam Jnanam jnanavatamaham. No, I mixed up. Jyotam chalayatamasmi tejasvinaamaham jayosmi vyavasayosmi sattvam sattvavatamaham Vrishninam vasudevosmi Pandavanam dhananjayah Muninam apyaham vyasaha Kavinam ushana kavihi Dando damayatam Nitirasmi jigishatam Maunam chaivasmi guhyanam Jnanam jnanavatamaham Echapi sarvabhutanam Bijam tadaham arjuna Na tadasti vina yasyat Maya bhutam characharam Nantosti mama divyanam Vibhutinam parantapa Yesha tu deshata proktaha vibhutirvistaro maya yad vibhuti matsatvam Shri madurjitameva va tattadeva vagachatvam mama tejomsha sambhavam. I think we'll stop here. We will get back to just one word I wanted to have regarding Adichanamaham Vishnu. Verse number 21, please. Adichanamaham Vishnu. Jyotisham Raviram Shuman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshatranamaham Shishi. Yeah, no. Okay. Okay, next. Correct. Adichanamaham Vishnu. Jyotisham Raviram Shuman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshatranamaham Shishi. I just wanted to make a point here, of which I am not very clear, but I will check up and tell you. Adichanamaham Vishnu. Vishnu happens to be the last of the Adityas, as we have covered earlier. Is it not? That Vishnu, I am not quite sure whether that is the avatar Purusha of Vishnu. That Vamana avatar, I am not sure, which I'll check up and let you know. Because there are some Veda Vakyas which say Shanno mitra shamvarunaha. Shanno bhavatvaryama. Shanna indro bruhaspatihi. Shanno vishnurukramaha. Shemno Vishnuhu Urukramaha. That one who has very huge strides. That huge strides gave me the doubt whether this is indeed the Vamana Avatara, which I am not sure. I will check up and let you know, okay? Now, can we go forward to Ashwatha Sarva Vrikshanam? Yes, Sarasam Asmi Sagaraha was over. Maharshinam Ruguraham Giramasmekam Aksharam. Yeah. Maharshinam Ruguraham Giramasmekam Aksharam. Yajnanam Yapayajnosmi Savaranam Himalayaha. Now, Ashwatha Sarva Vrikshanam Devarshinam Cha Naradaha Gandharvanam Chitraradaha Siddhanam Kapilo Munihi. This we have covered adequately. Only thing is, one thing to be known is this Kapila is certainly not the author of the Sankhya philosophy. There are 6 philosophies. One is Sankhya, another is Nyayam, Vaisheshikam, etc. There are 6 of these. Out of these, Kapila Maharshi, he is supposed to be a Maharshi. Kapila was considered the author of the Sankhya Shastra. And the Sankhya Shastra does not admit the importance of Bhagavan at all. Okay? That is not the Kapil Muni here mentioned. Gandharvanam Chitraradaha Siddhanam Kapilo Muni. It indicates only that Kapila Maharshi, who is the son of Kardama Prajapati and Devahuti, who has taught his mother Atma Vidya. That is called Kapila Gita also. Okay. Next verse. Now, incidentally, any doubts since yesterday? Okay. Uche Shriva Samaswanam Vidhimamam Rutodhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam Cha Naradipam. This Uche Shrivas. There is a bit of a story on this Uche Shrivas. Both Airavatam and Uche Shrivas. They have been appropriated by the Indra, the god of gods, god of the Devatas. And this Ucheshrava, though it came out of the Kshetrasagara Madhanam, like Airavatam and many other things, this Ucheshrava has some story to tell us regarding Vainateya, that is Garuda. What happens is, this Kadruva and Vinata, who are the co-wives, so to say, of Kashyapa Prajapati, one day they take a walk, and when they take a walk in the yonder spot, they happen to see this Ucheshrava. Then Kadruva says, "Hey, do you see the Ucheshrava?" Vinata says, "Yes, I see." Now, what is the color of the tail of the Ucheshrava? Vinata says, of course it is white. Entire Ucheshrava is a white horse. Then Kadruva says, no, it is black. And that was the twilight hour. At that time, they decide that next day they will come and find out the truth about the color of the tail of the horse. Then this Kadruva approaches her sons. Her sons are what? Her sons are all snakes. Sarpa and and Naga. These are Sarpas, like I said, are full of venom. Nagas may not have venom, but Nagas have different sets of heads. Okay, 1 head, 2 heads, 10 heads, and 1,000 heads, like the Adishesha. 1,000 heads like Adishesha. So this Kadruva approaches her sons and asks them, as though orders them to go and color the tail of the horse black. Some of them refuse. And whoever has refused, she will curse them that you will be burnt in the Sarpayaga of Janamejaya. And the Sarpayaga of Janamejaya is yet to take place. Even Janamejaya at that time of the curse of Kadruva was not even born. Even Dwapar Yuga has not dawned. But Kadruva has the power to foresee the future and curse those snakes who have refused to obey her. Others, they as though afraid of the curse taking care of them, they will obey. And the next day, Vinata and Kadruva go there. They will have a bet. And Kadruva says the bet is whoever loses will have to serve the other and the other's children for life. They agree. At that time, Vinata had only Aruna, who had kind of cursed her, saying, "You for having your hasty decision to break my egg, you will suffer, and you will be doing dasyam." And he curses and goes away. Now Vinata and Kadruva, when the next day, during daylight hours, when they see the Ucheshrava, the tail is indeed black. And so Vinata has lost. And Vinata has become the lifelong Dasi servant of Kadruva and her progeny. And the troubles of Vinata start from then on. Then when Garuda takes birth, he comes to know this, and he will redeem her, Vinata, redeem her, and take care of all the effects of the bet. How it is, he will ask the snakes, "Hey, my mother has been serving you and your mother. What is it that you want me to do, with which my mother can be freed?" Then they say, "You get us Amritam from Devaloka, which he will get, and place it on Kusha grass, and tell these sarpas, you can go make yourself Suchi Mataha, you go take a bath and come back and take this." At that time, Indra comes and takes away the Amrita Bhandam. But what happens is, in the process, the Kusha grass, where the Amrita Bhandam was, the pot of Amritam was kept by Garuda, it would have collected a few droplets of Amritam. And the Kusha grass becomes kind of pure, very pure, and very sharp it becomes. And the snakes come. They try to partake the Amrita Bhanda is not there. They try to lick the Kusha grass. That is how their tongues are split into two. From then on, the snakes have got split tongues. But Garuda has achieved his aim, and his mother is freed from this slavery, and that is how the Ucheshravas figures in the bet between two sisters. These two sisters are the daughters of Daksha Prajapati and wives of Kashyapa Prajapati. Okay, now we will go back to the next verse. Uche Shravasamaśvanam Vidyamamam Rutodbhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam cha Naradipam. Now the last one. Airavatam Gajendranam we have covered. Naranam cha Naradipam is who? I am the king amongst all people. Amongst all people, all the janas, Naranam cha Naradipam. Why Naradipam was mentioned? That is the greatness of the kings, or they could enact laws and promulgate them and ensure that that was strictly adhered to, and that was the aim of Bhagavan. Naranam cha Naradipam, and in Naradipam, my glory is there. Naranam cha Naradipam. Now Ayudhanam aham vajram, dheno namasmi kamadhak. Prajanaschaspmi kandarpaha sarpanam asmi vasuki. Sarpanam, amongst the venomous snakes, I am Vasuki. And this Vasuki was used as the rope using which the Ksherasagara Madhanam went on, isn't it? And we have covered that Vasuki's head was held by the Rakshasas out of great pride, that they will not get the tail of the Sarpa, they will handle only the head of the Sarpa, and for which they have paid penalty very, very heavily, because Vasuki went on belching a lot of breath, and that was highly poisonous. And the first one during the Ksherasagara Madhanam that has come about was Halahala means the profound poisonous fumes, those poisonous fumes as though like rain, and that is all from the Vasuki's mouth. People will be frightened, including the Devas and Asuras, but Bhagavan Vishnu would have used his clever tactics, and he and Brahmadev approaches. Both of them approach Ishvara, praise him, and praise him to an extent, saying, you are the first among the gods, and the first result of Ksherasagara Madhanam must belong to you. And Ishvara says, so be it. And this halahalam is given to Ishvara. And when he was about to take that, Mother Parvati intervenes and as though blesses Ishvara. As though blesses Ishvara. Okay, takes, nothing happens to you. And Ishvara takes, he does not swallow. He holds it in the middle of his throat. From then on, Ishvara has become Nilakantha, the blue-eyed Lord. The blue-eyed Lord. Ishvara, that is how. Okay. The halahalam was kind of given in a very clever manner by Vishnu and Brahma and Ishvara. He will swallow that. He will swallow means keep it in his throat. Okay.
Nanaji, did Vishnu and Brahma know it was poison and still gave it to Shiva?
They know. Okay. They also know the only one capable of holding the halahalam, okay, without harming himself is Ishvara. They know that.
Okay, thank you.
That is how. See, I'll tell you what. The Puranas, they have a knack of lifting sky high one of the great deities, Vishnu, Brahma, or Maheshwara. This is the occasion for the Purana to lift Ishvara sky high, and he is the one who is the benefactor of mankind, saved the day from the Devas and Rakshasas and all the men and women being poisoned by the halahalam. So he has saved the day. He became very great. That is how. That is the purpose of Puranas. Puranas will have our noble emotions lifted to greater heights of nobility. You will have now tremendous appreciation of Ishvara and appreciation of both Brahma and Vishnu also, because they have been instrumental to going to Ishvara and saving the day for mankind. Right? Ucheshravasamatsvanam vidhimamam amrutodbhavam airavatam gajendraanam naranam cha naradipam. Now, ayudhanam aham vajram. This vajrayudham, which again was taken by Indra. This is not Kshirasagara Madhanodbhavam, this vajram. What happened is, there is one asura who was created by Tvashta. Tvashta is the Deva Shilpi. That Tvashta would have created one Vishwarupa, I think. And Indra cuts off his head. When he cuts off the head of that, Indra would have the papa of Brahmahatya. And to get rid of that, he had to do something. And in the meantime, Tvashta produces a Rakshasa. That Rakshasa's name is Vruttarasura. To kill that Vruttarasura, this Vajrayudham was required. And Vajrayudham is possible to obtain from Maharshi Dadichi. And Dadichi was doing tremendous penance. And Dadichi is known to be a Danava king, a very noble king. Not all Danavas are very bad. Some Danavas are very, very noble, and he is one of those. He will be in a very acute penance, and Indra was informed, you have to go approach Dadichi. When Indra and the set of deities go there, the Devatas, Dadichi would readily agree to give the life of him. The life of him, because the Vajrayudham is required to be made from out of the spinal cord of the Dadichi Maharshi. And the spinal cord, how will you get? Unless the Dadichi is dead. So Dadichi, by his yoga power, he kind of leaves the body. And Indra and the rest of the deities, they take the spinal cord, and from out of that, the Vajrayudham is made. And when Indra goes to fight this Vruttarasura, that fellow huge, very, very huge, and from earth to Akasha, he spans such a huge figure. He will simply swallow the Vajrayudham. Ayudhanaham Vajram. This Vajrayudham is swallowed, and somehow Indra also was swallowed by the Vruttarasura. But both Indra and the Vajrayudham come out by some quirk of trickery by the Devas, and finally Indra kills the Vruttarasura. That kind of a Vajrayudham is Aham. Ayudhanam Aham Vajram. This is supposed to be the most powerful weapon. Ayudhanam Aham Vajram. Dhenonam. Dhenonam means amongst the cows, amongst not really cattle. Cattle will include a lot of other things. Amongst the cows, I am Dhenonam Asmi Kamadhuka. Kamadhuka means I am the Kamadhenu. Kamadhenu not only gives wonderful milk and drinking which you will ever be youthful, not only that, it has the capacity to give whatever you seek from her, from that Kamadhenu. This kind of thing happened between Vasishtha and Vishwamitra. In the days gone by, Vasishtha was in his ashram, Vishwamitra, usurping kingdom after kingdom and coming to Vasishtha's ashram, he will be treated by Vasishtha tremendously, wonderfully well. He will be hosted by Vasishtha. Vishwamitra asked him, how could you do this in this ashram? You are in the forest and ashram, and how could you afford to do this? Then Vasishtha says, it is because of my Kamadhenu. Vishwamitra wants to take Kamadhenu away. Vasishtha says no. Vishwamitra uses force and Kamadhenu comes running to Vasishtha. Did you agree to give me to Vishwamitra? Vasishtha says no. Then Kamadhenu produces a lot of soldiers who will annihilate Vishwamitra's forces. That's a story. Okay, that is part of Mahabharata and some of the Puranas also. So the Kamadak, that kind of a thing happened between Kartavirya and Jamadagni. Jamadagni also had an equivalent of this Kamadhenu that was called Nandini, I think. That this Kartavirya Arjuna, he was the first Arjuna, Kartavirya Arjuna, and he had the blessings of one great deity. Who is the deity? Dattatreya. He has the blessings of Dattatreya, and he is 1,000-armed, Sahasrabahu, and he takes away the Nandini. Then Jamadagni's son, Parashurama, he fights Kartavirya Arjuna, kills him, and gets the Kamadhenu back. Subsequently, these Kartavirya Arjuna's sons, when Parashurama was not there in the ashram, they come, behead Jamadagni, take the Kamadhenu away. That was the starting point for Parashurama to vow that he will annihilate all the kings in the land. 21 times he goes around the globe and kills all the kings. Some kings will be hiding, dressed as ladies in the harems, in the palace in Antapura, and that is how they were saved. This is the story regarding that Kamadhenu. Ayudhanam aham vajram, dhenu namasmi kamadhak, prajanaschasmi kandarpaha. The cause for progeny between couples is Kandarpaha. Kandarpaha is the god of love. The god of love. And he is supposed to be the son of Bhagavan Vishnu and Mata Lakshmi. Kandarpaha. Okay? Prajanaschasmi Kandarpaha. Sarpanam asmi Vasukihi. And this Kandarpaha is, and his other name is what? Prajanaschasmi Kandarpa, other name is, what's his name? Okay, I'm somehow.
Kamadeva, right?
Huh?
Kamadeva.
Kamadeva, there is another. Ma, it starts with a Ma.
Manmatha.
Manmatha, correct. Manmatha. This Manmatha tries to be very smart, even against Ishvara. And Ishvara opens his third eye and he was burnt into ashes. And subsequently Ishvara takes pity on Manmadha's wife, Rati Devi, who pleads with Ishvara that you have rendered me a widow. You must please help me. Then he says, in the next Janma, he will meet you. And in the next Janma, this Kandarpaha, this person, Kamadeva and Manmada, he becomes Pradyumna. Pradyumna, Krishna's and Rukmini's son. Pradyumna. That's how that person is the cause for progeny between couples. And that glory of Kandarpa is mine. That is what Ketaya is saying. Prajanaschasmi Kandarpaha. Sarpana must be Vasukihi. Amongst the vicious snakes, Sarpaha, I am Vasukihi. I am Vasukihi. Sarpana must be Vasukihi. People say,
Nanaji, Pradyumna was he the cause for the destruction of the other race as well?
What is that? Pradyumna?
Was he the one who is the cause for the destruction of the Yadava race?
No. He is not the cause for
Okay.
destruction. He is the cause for destruction of Shambarasura. Shambarasura, who, when Pradyumna was an infant, he comes to Dwaraka and takes him away. And he was about to be dumped. He was about to be killed. Then Narada intervenes. Hey, why are you killing that little infant? Why are you killing that little infant? Then he will simply drop that infant into the ocean. And in the ocean, one huge fish will swallow that infant. And one fisherman picks up that huge fish, and when he cuts it open, he will find this smiling infant. And the fisherman's wife befriends this Pradyumna, and that is how he will grow and things like that. Then Rati Devi will become in this incarnation Shambarasura's wife, Mayavati, I think, and she will also come to know this, that her husband of earlier years is Pradyumna, and she teaches him a lot of Maya Vidyas, based on which Shambarasura, who is considered a tremendous Mayavi, is killed by Pradyumna. So, Prajanascha Kandarpaha, Sarpanam asmi Vasukihi. I was about to say, this Vasuki, some accounts are there saying Vasuki is worn by Bhagavan Shankara. Amongst so many snakes that abound in his body, okay, decorating his body, one is Vasuki. People say, I really don't know. But this is an information which I gathered reading so many texts like that. Ayudhanam aham vajram, dhenu nam asmi kamadhuk, prajanascha kandarpaha, sarpanam asmi Vasukihi. And this Vasuki's sister happens to be the cause. This Vasuki's sister, her name is Jaratkaru. And there was a Rishi by name Jaratkaru. And that Rishi vows not to marry unless a lady bearing his name is available. And Vasuki comes to know that and offers his sister to this Jaratkaru in marriage. And Jaratkaru agrees on one condition. He tells this other Jaratkaru, that lady Jaratkaru, that whatever he does, she should not obstruct, okay, whatever he does. And for this Jaratkaru and Jaratkaru, the man and the wife, they are supposed to beget a child who will stop the Sarpayaga of Janamejaya. That is the Akashavani's omen. And this Jaratkaro, they will be happily living. One day, this Rishi Jaratkaro will be reclining on the thigh of this lady Jaratkaru and sleeping. When he is sleeping, and he is given to a lot of nishta and yogi karma and things like that, yajna, yaga. When it is about 6 o'clock in the evening, this lady Jaratkaru gets frightened that he is missing his Sandhya Vandanam, and of which he is very fond of. Then she wakes him up. When she wakes him up, then this Rishi Jaratkaru says, "You have obstructed my wonderful sleep." Then she says, "It is because of this, my lord. This I did not want you to have any papa accruing to you because of your missing Sandhya Vandanam." How can I miss Sandhya Vandanam? This is the Rishi's counter. Then she says, "It's already 6 o'clock in the evening." Rishi says, "So be it. Without my permission, how can the sun set? Don't you know even that? So you have obstructed what I was doing. I was sleeping. You obstructed. I am going. I will go away." Then she pleads, "Please, who have been married together to beget a son who will stop Janamejaya's Sarpayagam." Then the Rishis promises her, "You are already pregnant with that Rishi in your womb. Don't you worry. Everything will be all right. He will go away." That is another story. Anantaschasmyanagaanam varuno yadasamaham pitronam aryamachasmi yamaha samyamatamaham. Anantaschasmyanagaanam. This Ananta is what? Seshashayi. It's not Seshashayi. Shesha. Sheshashayi is Bhagavan Vishnu. The one who reclines on Shesha is Seshashayi. He is Bhagavan Vishnu. Anantaschasmi Naganam. Amongst the Nagas, I am Anantaha, the 1,000-headed Sesha. Varuno Yadasamaham. Aham Varunaha Yadasam. Yadasam means amongst the deities of the flowing rivers and bodies of water which are never constant. Okay? That amongst the deities, I am Varuna. I am Varuna. Like Mother Ganges. Okay? You venerate her, Mother Ganges, and Mother Yamuna, Mother Kaveri, about like that, Mother Sindhu, Brahmaputra. All these are deities. Amongst all these deities, I am Varunaha. This Varunaha is the same as that Varuna whom Bhrigu Maharshi approached. Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti Bhrugurvai Varunihi. Yesterday we have covered, isn't it? Bhrugurvai Varunihi Varunam Pitaramupasasara Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti Tagumho Vacha. That Varuna is this
Bhrugu's,
Varuna.
yeah,
Huh?
Bhrugu's father. Bhrugu's father.
Bhrugu's father. And this Varuna is also the father of Vasishta. Is also Vasishta is Brahma Manasa Putra. But what happens is, this I said I will cover this at a later time. Vasishta promises Nimi. Nimi is the emperor of Videha. Okay? That he will conduct an yajna, etc. But in the meantime, Indra beckons Vasishta to the Swargaloka, and Vasishta goes away, and the appointed time is passing away for Nimi. So the Purohits of Nimi suggest that he should go through with the yajna, without waiting for Vasishtha. Otherwise, papameva, you will accrue. Then he will honor the Purohit's word and he will go through with the yajna. And Vasishtha, after completing Indra's errand in Swargaloka, he will come back to Nimi. When he comes back to Nimi, Nimi has already performed the yajna. Vasishtha gets annoyed with Nimi and curses him. Curses him saying, you become without deha, videha. Then Nimi is a very, very powerful emperor. Not only that, he was a great Rajarshi himself. He also equally gets annoyed and curses Vasishtha. You will also become videha. and Vasishtha simply falls down dead. And then he will be resurrected by Brahmadeva and he will be the blessing of Varuna and Mitra. This Varuna and Mitra, people say one is the rising sun and another is the sun at dawn, sun at dusk. One is the dawn sun, another is the dusk sun. Okay, at these twilight hours, that Varuna and Mitra. So Vasishtha is the Mitra Varuna's son. Same thing is the case with Maharshi Agastya. He is also considered the son of Mitra and Varuna. I do not know how Mitra and Varuna. These are non-feminine names. These are masculine names. How they have engendered Vasishtha and Agastya. I really do not know, but that is there. That is part
But
of
isn't Vashishta Brahma Manasa Putra?
True that Brahma Manasa Putra is cursed by Nemi and Brahma Manasa Putra is gone.
Okay.
Subsequently, he becomes the son of Mitra and Varuna. From then on, the emperors and kings of the land, the Videha land, they have been the successors of Nimi. Nimi is a very, very great person. The Yajna Yaga he has done, and he will release some wheel, I believe, and that wheel, wherever it goes, that becomes a huge forest, and which will be abounding in great rishis. Lot of pious activities will go on, and that wheel will land in a place which is the present day Naimisharanyam, I believe. The name of that, Nimisha, from Nimi's grace, the wheel has gone there and that Aranyam has become Naimisharanyam. And Naimisharanyam is very often quoted in both the epics. Anantaschasminaganam Varuno Yadasamaham, that Varuna. I am the king of all these deities, okay, of these rivers. Varuno Yadasamaham. This Yadasa is different from Yadava. Krishna is an Yadava, okay. This Yadasa is the flowing rivers. Yadava is the clan from Yayati's first son, Yadu. That Yadu was the first son of Yayati and Devayani. And he will refuse to part with his youth to Yayati, and Yayati curses him and says, you and your clan will not be eligible for being kings. That is how. That is Yadava. This is Yadasa. Yadasanam aham varunaha. And Bhagavan Krishna says, the glory of Varuna is I. Pitronam Aryama Chasme. Amongst the Pitr Devatas, amongst the mains, Pitr Devatas, Aham Aryama. This Aryama we have covered earlier in the Dvadashadityas. One of the names of Adityas is Aryama. This Aryama must be certainly different. Otherwise, he will not be with the Pitrus. Because he can't be at the same time the Pitr Devata as well as one of the Dvadasha Adityas. Pitronam Aryama Chasmi Yamaha Samyamatamaham. The one who orders and ordains and ensures that everything goes properly. That Yamadeva, I am. Yamadharmaraja, I am. And his glory is not his, it is because of me. It is because of me. Elsewhere in the 9th chapter, Bhagavan said, whoever worships other devatas, they will be worshipping me indirectly, and I will ensure that their Shraddha will not dwindle in respect of their worship of the devatas that they prefer to worship. Not only that, he said, it is because of me the karma phala is given to those people who worship other devatas. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhaya chitumichyati tasya tasya achalam shraddham tameva vidadamyaham. And he says, antavattu phalam tesham. This is finite. Their phalam is finite. Whereas people who worship me, they will get the infinite phalam, which is moksham, which is shreyodayakam. That he has mentioned earlier. So that if you bear in mind all these glories of these various deities like Varuna, Indra, okay, all these belong to Kitaya only. And that is how it is. Aham Varunaha, Aham Aryama, and I am Yamaha. Samyamatam, amongst those who enforce discipline. Aham Yamaha. That means what? Bhagavan Krishna likes discipline being enforced and discipline being adhered to. That is very, very simple. You must have discipline. When you want to do some puja, yajna, after taking a vow, you must have discipline to continue doing that, no matter what obstacles you may face. That the person who will enforce that kind of a discipline is Yama. And Yama's greatness is not his, it is because of me, my glory. Aham Yamaha. And I am Ananta amongst the many-headed snakes. I am Varuna amongst the gods of water. Among the mains means Pitrs, Pitr Devatas. I am Aryama. I am Yama among the deities who enforce discipline. Yeah, can we go to the next verse? I think we'll have time for another verse. These Purana stories are swallowing a lot of our time, but it's okay, maybe. Now, Prahladaschasmadaicanam kala kalayatamaham mruganam cha mrugendroham vainateyascha pakshinam. Vainateya is what? Venata's son. Vainateyascha pakshinam. And amongst the birds which fly
Garuda, no?
Garuda. Vainateya is Garuda, and Garuda is extremely powerful. It is Garuda who simply picks up in his class that the Mandara Parvatam and deposits that in the Kshetrasagaram to enable the Devas and Danavas do the churning of the Kshetrasagaram. That kind of a power he has got. It's not a joke. a huge mountain called Mandhara that is picked up in his class as though it is nothing. And if you read the Mahabharata, like I said, about 35, 40 pages of Vainateya Prasangam is there. Beautiful. And when he takes birth, he asks his mother, Mother, I'm feeling very, very hungry. Where can I get food? And he's so huge. This tiny mother of his could not have quenched his hunger at all. Then she says, Here you go, ask your father. And he approaches Kashyapa. And Kashyapa says, Hey, there are two huge animals always at loggerheads. They're always fighting each other. You simply take those. One is a huge elephant and another is a huge tortoise. And this elephant and tortoise, they had a story of their own in their previous janma. They were two maharshis or so, and they were always fighting. And those have been cursed to be the elephant and the tortoise. This Garuda picks up the elephant in one claw and the tortoise in the other claw. Huge by dimensions. The elephant is not a small elephant. Some yojanas in length and some yojanas in breadth and some yojanas in height. That kind of an elephant. That kind of an elephant is picked up as though like a flower by Garuda. And the same thing he does with the tortoise. And these two, when he picks up, he did not know, poor man, where to stop. Where to stop? Then he sees a huge tree, and the tree has a very, very long branch. He alights there with the elephant and the tortoise. And what happens is, I tell you, you people read Mahabharata, you will really enjoy these episodes. The branch breaks. Branch breaks, and as though it's about to fall down, and hanging from the branch are Maharshis, Angushtamatra Purushaha, and the size of the thumb. Their entire vapu, their entire frame is only like Angushtamatra, like the thumb. And all those will be in deep penance. Then Garuda gets frightened. What he does is, he has got in one claw elephant. In another claw, he has got what? The tortoise. He picks up that broken branch, who's about to fall down into the abyss with his beak, and again approaches his father. All these things we will cover maybe tomorrow. We're already on to 9:30. These are wonderful stories, I tell you. And when he approaches his father tells him, hey, there's no other place for you except the great Himalayas. You go to the Gandhamadhana Parvatam, there on a huge mountain, you alight and it will be harmless. And I will request the Valakilyas rishis to please bless you that you have done your best. It was inadvertently that the branch they are hanging from and doing penance has broken. It is not intentional. They will bless you. You go like that. All these things we'll cover tomorrow. Okay? Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayah. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kasyed Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om, everybody.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Nanaji. Happy Janmashtami.
Hari Om Nanaji, Happy Janmashtami.
Hari Om.